Welcome to the sub channel. Welcome to my second channel. So the idea of this channel is to kind of be an outlet for my nerdy side and my ideas and tips and tricks and product stuff that it doesn't really belong on Fire to Fork. Fire to Fork is a little bit, look, Fire to Fork is far from slick, but a little bit, it has a theme. It's specifically the build of my Prado, and then the some adventure stuff, some Fire to Talk stuff, but most of all, cooking. So that's going to continue as is. This is going to be kind of a little bit messier to an extent. Like this can be anything. It might be a rundown on camera gear. It might be certain product rundowns. It might just be tips and tricks on little random things. There's kind of a bit of everything on this. So look, if that's the kind of stuff that interests you, absolutely hit subscribe. I'd love to get over 1,000 so that I can get my $20 an episode, which is literally what it would be. If for 1,000 or 2,000 sub channel, it's a very small amount of money, but hey, it puts a few liters of diesel in the tank and it makes it worth my while spending 2 or 3 hours getting one of these episodes up. These are not the kind of thing that I film on my phone. It's still filmed on a big camera. It still has to be color graded. It still has to be edited. It has to be uploaded, build a thumbnail. There's a lot actually that goes into doing one of these things. This is not something I'm doing to make money. This is something I'm doing as an outlet, a creative outlet. So, but it would really help if I could somewhat offset that cost and time with a few bucks by you guys subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything and it means a lot to me. Thanks. Oh, let's get to the Q&A. Davo 4-wheel drive, what did you do before the YouTube gig and what made you decide on the YouTube channel? I've already explained what I did before. What made me decide on the YouTube channel? I was having a conversation with Ronnie Dahl one day and he basically said, oh, you should start an Instagram about your cooking. I had this ridiculous one that was just like a stupid one about my car. Heaps of fun, but stupid. He said, you take good photos and you cook good food, why don't you do that? So I was like, oh yeah, cool, a bit of fun. And it wasn't until Graham Cahill asked me to go camping that I decided to put something on YouTube. And then it wasn't till I left my job that I decided to seriously pursue YouTube. And that was not even out of me wanting to make money or make this a job or anything like that. It literally was just to give me more of a sense of purpose because I was quite anxious because I wasn't working and I suddenly was just sitting around, like I was applying for jobs and stuff, but I was suddenly sitting around and I felt like shit, to be honest. When I was making YouTube, at least I thought, well, at least I'm doing something productive, like I'm entertaining people and that's good. And because it was COVID at the start of it as well, like COVID lockdown in WA, this was back when we actually had cases. And yeah, it was, that's why it was basically stress and anxiety that made me start it. Didn't think I'd say that on camera. How did you, Ronnie and Alex meet? We met, funnily enough, through 4-wheel drive action. Okay, it's not true. I met Alex through Instagram. I was just messaging him one day. He went, oh mate, do you want to come on a trip? I had like 4 subscribers, like 4 followers. I didn't really, I wasn't, I had no, anything really. He just thought, we were just chatting. He sounded like a nice guy and knew what I was talking about to an extent. And anyway, so we went camping and I was so starstruck. I was like, oh my God, this big YouTuber wants to like catch up with me. This is the coolest thing in the world. So thank you so much, Alex, for that. Because he's Alex from Intense, by the way, Intense Off-Road. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And then Ronnie and I met through 4-wheel drive action. We were both doing a customs shoot. So I had my old 80, he had his 79, and we both were there to film the DVD, get filmed for the DVD. And yeah, it was fun, and we hung out, and then I didn't see him for about another year, and I bumped into him at the 4-wheel drive show, and he was like, Harry, like, why haven't we caught up? Bloody, so we, have caught up since then, and the rest is history. And then I don't know how Ronnie and Alex met, I guess just through the industry. Okay, Tina Deli again. What should you get first for fire cooking? You've already got a camp oven. I would say an Osprey. And the reason I say it is because it's between a grill and an Osprey. Grill is extremely versatile, but the Osprey is just like one step more because you can use it as a grill or an Osprey. Like you can put things on top of it. The grill though is much bigger. I don't know, it's a real toss up. I would say my gut instinct is Osprey, but backup would be some sort of a folding grill thing or a solid leg grill thing. Luke Panigan, when is your book coming out? At this stage, July. The Wandering Jimmy, is the Kimberley in your blood now and how long till you're back? Yeah, the Kimberley's in my blood. The Kimberley's been in my blood for a long time though. What a lot of people don't know about me is my folks actually used to be part owners of a big station, big cattle station in the Kimberley. And I used to I've been coming out here for 20 years and I've actually, in my previous job, I've run 3 cattle stations. Like, you know, managed remotely, but still there's a lot. Oh shit. Oh, I think there's a car. Oh. Sorry, aeroplane, not a car. So the Kimberley has been in my blood forever. Well, not forever, but a long time. And I'll be back here in May, I think, at this stage. I want to be back for the start of the dry, just to go and do some trips, just to enjoy it. I'll obviously make content while I'm up here, but I don't think you're gonna get rid of me for a while in terms of when I can come back. Any opportunity to come north, I go. So yeah. Best way to keep a swag/tent clean when camping with a dog? I don't know. Canvas floor mats are really good. Make sure they have some sort of a bed. Fred just jumps in my swag and kind of just dirties it. It's the reality. He's thankfully is a really clean dog. Some dogs can get smelly very quickly. He amazingly, despite being white, manages to stay incredibly clean and doesn't stink. So yeah. The reality is, I think I smell worse than him most of the time he gets in my swag. Oh, Joshua Eel. Anything you miss about the 80 that you wish the Prado had? Yeah, I wish the Prado had really thick panels and shit paint. That would be great. As far as capability goes, no. Solid axles were awesome. Front locker was awesome. I haven't actually driven this thing that hardcore off-road, so I don't really know if I'm missing anything. I would like to be able to turn some of the stability control and stuff off sometimes. I find that, you know, sometimes it'll grab a brake in an awkward spot when I'm trying to give it a bit of shit around a corner in the sand or whatever. That's kind of annoying. But no, other than that, I can't think of anything in particular that that I miss, really, aside from just being able to relax fully off-road. These things are easy to dent. The 80 was, you know, you could friggin' back a hatchback into it, it wouldn't matter. Oh, and a bull bar. Bo Townsend, do you rate the Snowmaster fridge and freezers? Yes, yeah. That thing hasn't turned off since I've been in the Kimberley. It's been extremely hot. You can see it's boxed in, doesn't have great ventilation in there. It's actually something I want to sort out. I want to get a hole cut in the side of the drawers to give it better ventilation. It has not ever dropped more than 2 degrees away from its target temperature. And that's the standard operating range. So I have the freezer set to -12. The warmest it's ever been is -10. And I'll often open it up, it's -14. So it fluctuates on both sides like all fridges do. The fridge has been perfect. It's never ever struggled in any way, shape or form. And it uses a bit of power in these conditions, but in normal conditions, it is phenomenal. They do have a different range which would use less power, but it has thicker insulation. So I'd have to have a much smaller internal capacity fridge for the outside area. So I deliberately chose a less efficient fridge in order to get more internal space because I have tons of battery power. So yeah, there's a toss up with everything. It's like, you know, Domestics you can get, they've got a very small footprint, they're a very small fridge. Their insulation is nowhere near as good as something like a National Lunar or a thick Snowmaster, or even the thick Engels. They're just much heavier, heavier duty insulation. So it's all swings and roundabouts. And I was pretty over Domestics. Broke way too many of them, way too many. Brad Frost. Okay, it's gonna rain. Hold on. I need to put this awning up. Okay, the old pot over the camera trick. Okay, back to it. Brad Frost. It is raining, by the way. Brad Frost, number one camp kitchen item. Number one is really hard. Look, I'm going to assume you have very basic stuff like utensils and things like that. I still reckon it's the Osprey. It's like if I was going to give someone a present, I'd give them an Osprey. So, yeah. Second would be a camp oven or an Osprey. I don't know. They're both just so bloody useful. Phil Sterling. If you hadn't have gone for the Prado, what would you have gone for instead? 200, probably. Yeah, it's probably the next closest. The only other thing that kind of interested me was a D-Max or a Hilux. And honestly, they're neck and neck. I still can't pick one or the other. I like the way the D-Max drove more than the Hilux, but I think resale on the Hilux is probably going to be better. I don't know. I think the price on the D-Max is really good. It's a really tough one. Genuinely really tough one. Like, I think they're both really, really good cars. But I think you have to look at everything, so. Emily Spiegel 18, have you thought of doing any trips out of WA? Absolutely. I've done lots of trips out of WA. I've travelled in New South Wales, Queensland, sorry, not Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, and I've done a full lap of Tassie off-road camping. And if it wasn't for COVID and some other things happening this year, I was planning to do a full East Coast trip, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen, and you'll find out more about why that's not happening soon. But don't worry, it'll happen eventually. A lot of Prado stuff. Best and the worst thing about the Prado. Best thing, probably its on-road manners and off-road manners. Just how bloody easy it is to drive. It's light, it's fingertippy, it's so controllable, it's great at low speed, high speed. I love it I just love driving the thing. Downside, thin panels. I don't like the thin panels, but that's kind of the nature of having a modern car and also one that's light. Turbo lag. I think it could do with a shorter first gear and a little bit less turbo lag. I would love to be able to put a tune in this, but warranty. I would have loved them put a twin turbo V6 in this with 200 kilowatts and 650 newton meters or something like that, like a really good meaty engine for a car this big. That said, I also love the fuel economy of this, and I have not found it lacking power one bit, not one bit. It's got heaps more than my Cruiser, and my Cruiser was pretty well tuned. Ranger Craig, what's on the agenda when you get back to the shitty city? Well, my plan is to sort of, in summer it's a bit hard because a lot of the regions around me are going to have fire bans. So I'm probably going to do fires in the backyard from time to time. And then my in-laws have a property on the south coast where I'm allowed to, on their property with 3 meters of cleared thing and blah, 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 I'm allowed to have an enclosed wood fire for cooking. No worries, I can do that. Spoke to the council, they were all good with it. And it's also like it's raining a lot down there and stuff all year round. It's very safe. I feel very comfortable doing it, and so do they. So I'm going to go down there, but it's obviously it's a long drive. So I'll go down there for like 5 days at a time and try and get 3 or 4 weeks worth of videos knocked out. and then I can release them, you know, once a week or something like that. Then in winter, I want to go away basically every week, go and film in the bush, go and, you know, do client stuff, do whatever I need to do, and then come back. And then on the weekends, obviously, I still want to go camping. So on the weekends, I'll go camping with my mates, go camping with family, and not film because you need that. Otherwise, I film all the time and I don't relax, and I will start to hate camping. Stu's holiday mail, camper trailer or swag? That's a very good question. Short term, swag. Longer term, camper trailer for sure. Absolutely. I want a camper trailer. Putting it out there, I really want to get a camper trailer for when we start a family, and for longer trips. When I'm just living in my car, I'd love a camper trailer that I can actually work in. It'd be amazing. When are we going to see more collaborations in Perth? WA Camping Adventures. This is from Aussie JK. Cook up for WA Camping Adventures. I'm coming for you, mate. We're going to do it. WA Camping Adventures. Mick Towner, number 7. Where do babies come from? Not wearing gumboots. Caught on a mission. Fighter Fork merch, question mark. Yeah, that's a very good question, actually. I have Fighter Fork merch, obviously I'm wearing it. My website is a basket case, and I've been losing orders because Wix sucks. I'm having my entire website and online store overhauled right now, and it's going to be back up and running, but I actually have stock. I literally just can't sell it. I have thousands of dollars of stock sitting at my parents' house in Perth that I can't move because I can't manage the orders. Unless I literally like manually did it, which would take me hours every day and I wouldn't be able to do anything else. So I'm just gonna take a couple of weeks off, let it all get sorted out, and then once with my new system, I'll be able to effectively sell merch and not lose people's orders and not have things not turn up. And I'm really sorry to everyone who's had delays with their shirts. It's trust me, it hurts me more than it hurts you. I can tell you, hours every day. Josh SP21, what's your favourite bit of filming gear? Sony A7 III, which I'm looking at now. Such a good thing. Oh, and these mics. I got these little Rode, what are they called? Video mic Go or something like that. They're bloody great. So compact and easy. Quick run through of my filming setup. I'm going to say this fast so that people who aren't interested in filming can skip over it. I run a Sony A7 I for stills. My Sony lenses are 1635 f4 Sony, 7200 f4 Sony, the Sigma 35 1.4, the Sony 50mm 1.8, which is a beautifully sharp but a turd of a lens. And then my second body, my video body, is a Sony A7 III. I run a GoPro 8, and I used to run a DJI Mavic Pro, and now I run a DJI Mavic Air 2, which is better than the Pro in my opinion. Yeah, that's my filming gear. Pretty simple. And heaps of batteries and tripods and memory cards, and I've got a a whole nother audio kit for interviews and stuff, which has like a blimp and news shooter kit and stuff like that. It gets pretty complicated. 105 cruising. Are the chairs actually comfortable? Yes, but chairs are very individual. I would never tell anyone that they will find a chair comfortable, because so many chairs I find really comfortable, other people hate, and vice versa. So yeah, it's very personal. But Ronnie and I have polar opposite taste in chairs. He likes really low chairs, low skinny chairs. I like kind of higher, wider ones and stuff like that. Like, despite the fact that we're similar shape, he has completely different chair taste. Regan Dinny, can Sam reach into the fridge, or does she have to stand on Fred? She can reach into the fridge, she just can't see anything unless she stands on Fred. West Oz Prospector, when are you going to show us how to cook stew in the coals? When I get to borrow your jet ski. Deal. Outback cleanups. Best DIY Prado mod under $1,000. Also, your opinion on pineapple. I like pineapple. I am pro pineapple on pizzas, which is, you know, divisive. I like salty and sweet. Sue me. I wouldn't usually order a pizza with pineapple, but I am not offended by pineapple on pizzas. Best DIY mod under $1,000. I would say that table, that K-on table, which is about $200-ish. That's very, very easy to install yourself. Maybe a good cargo barrier, or I would say get that table, a false floor, or some cheap drawers, and that will save you a heap of time. And then after that, go and get yourself a fridge and dual batteries. Jamie O'Neill 20, when you say cheaper is better for cast iron, how cheap are you talking? Like the stuff from BCF? That's a good question. I don't think cheaper is better. I think cheaper is very nearly as good. And I'm talking really cheap. Like cheaper than BCF stuff. BCF stuff's great. Nothing wrong with BCF stuff at all. I'm talking Aldi. Like $20 for a kit kind of thing. 20 or $30 for a kit. That stuff will do a great job. Honestly, you'd really struggle to find proper issues with it. There's a company, a Japanese company that makes a $350 camp oven, this cast iron camp oven, which I just find mind-boggling. And then you go into like flash kitchen places and they've got, you know, $500 cast iron pots. I just find that eye-watering. When I've used that $330 camp oven, and I've used like a $15 camp oven, and they did exactly the same bloody job. So yeah, that's my take on it. With cast iron, with spun steel, there's a little bit of difference, but not much. In fact, I'll just quickly say it now. So Uniflame spun steel stuff is probably the best quality in the world that I know of, but it's extremely heavy. I don't think you get any real benefit by having Uniflame compared to having like a Southern Metal Spinners or something like that, or Hillbilly. I would always go for the Hillbilly or Southern Metal Spinners, because you're talking about $60 for a camp oven versus a few $100 for a camp oven, and you take away the main benefit of spun steel, which is lightness. Yeah, that's my take on it, honestly. I also think that whatever you are going to use, you are going to learn with that pot, or that pan, or that whatever. You will learn to use your gear. It's not like you guys are going to have to chop and change between other people's gear all the time, and you need to learn how to use every single type of thing. You will learn to cook with your piece of equipment. So if you buy spun steel in the first place, or buy cast iron in the first place, you will get to know your pot, and you'll get to know how to cook with it. And it's just all about experience. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Josh Christian 12, how old is Fred? Where did you get him from? Kind of already answered this. Fred is 2.5, and I got him from Staffy and Bully Breed Rescue in Perth. Legends. Jared Van Dater, barbecue sauce in fridge or cupboard? Cupboard. I've just moved the camera into the shade a little bit because it's just getting constantly rained on despite the pot on the roof. I'll show you what it looks like. I'll show you what the camera looks like now. That's what I'm looking at. Craig M. Thoughts on ending the LC's V8 for a V6? I'm all for it. As long as it's reliable. I don't know what the engine's going to be like, but if you think about it, the previous 6-cylinder, the FTA, was arguably the best motor that Toyota ever made. And then people were, oh, I don't want that. I don't want this VDJ thing. I want the V8. I want the straight 6. Look how that's turned out. Aside from alternator issues and an airbox issue, both of which are very easily sorted. The alternator issue got sorted out, and the airbox is an easy fix. Just chuck a new seal on it. One of the greatest motors that Toyota's ever made, that VDJ. It's a masterpiece. Yeah, it uses a bit of fuel, but it's not like the FTEs use nothing. It's been brilliant. It's been brilliantly reliable. I mean, Torbs has done over 400,000 Ks in his, thrashing the crap out of it on a V8, on 35s with a tune. Like, He's got serious power figures in that thing, and it is perfect. So, no, I've got no issue with the idea of it. The motor could turn out to be a piece of crap, though. So, yeah, that's my thought. Is the Prado Toyota issue sorted? Yes, interim fix is done. So there's like a, I've changed the oil in it, basically to thicker oil, and there's the ECU update, which would be the proper fix, hasn't happened yet. It hasn't come out yet. As soon as I get it, as soon as it comes out, I'll get it. Obviously, it's all warranty, but symptomatically, yeah, it stopped. All right, I reckon that's pretty much all we've got time for today. That was really, really fun. Thank you so much for sending in all the questions. As I said, if you want to be involved in this next time, make sure you follow me on Instagram. Thank you so much for tuning into the second channel. It's kind of fun to have people on this channel. There's obviously nothing on it before now, but I do plan to do some fun comparisons and tips and that kind of stuff, and just my nerdy side, my camping nerdy side. This is going to be an outlet for that. So I'm keen to do more of it. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.